in your mind's eye, are you all just children who've transgressed against your father's divine?
No, we've done nothing wrong.
Are you being punished for your multitude of sins? Are you?
No.
Is this really our lot? To have been led by a father to the promised land? Paradise. Only to have paradise cruelly smashed to bits before our very eyes. Are these the actions of a father towards his children?
No, it's not right.
What have you done? What have you done to deserve this punishment? What sins have you committed? What dark thoughts have you harbored that condemn you? Condemn you to wander through the universe without hope, without light. So you have to ask yourself, what kind of a father abandons his own children to despair and loneliness? Perhaps we are not the ones in need of forgiveness. Perhaps we're not. Perhaps we have been wrong. Perhaps it is God who should come down here and beg for our forgiveness.
They're indoctrinated from childhood to believe that the gold are their gods. They don't have a choice.
What are you doing? Well, Mayor West is afraid of zombies, so the city says all caskets must be encased in concrete.
You'll thank me when no one eats our brains.
Kebert Zella.
Only saying his name backwards can send him back to the fifth dimension where he belongs.
But just as the world is hurtling to its end in December of this year, then so too are we, heading to our own Armageddon.
God has changed the rules here.
Earth was a mirage, a fantasy they dangled in front of us for 4 long years in order to maintain power, a fantasy they dreamed up as a way to hold on and control the government over the democratic wishes of the population.
Thanks for turning off your cell phone.
You're welcome.
Why have a civilization who no longer interested in being civilized?
Doomsday is coming. End of the World Wednesdays. Earth-shattering disaster movies. Disaster movies, Wednesday at 8 on Sci-Fi.
Sweet zombie Jesus.
They painted themselves into a black box, black corner. The other, so that's the inertia. The other is that there were Orthodox religious interests that did not know what to make of this. And I've had discussions with senior levels of the Vatican to discuss this. And today, most mainstream religious groups would say, well, there's one supreme being in the universe, and there are many children of God, and we're all children of God. This is what Monsignor Balducci said when we interviewed him at the Vatican. But the Orthodox and fundamentalists would view this in a very disturbing way, because it would upset their worldview.
Imagine a world in which death has been conquered. Praise the one true God. And they will save a life everlasting in a virtual heaven that we have built.
We can just get out of this game. We can go and get lost in V-World. I mean, it's massive. He'll never find us.
No. It's safer in New Cap City. We're gods in here. Let's act like it and forsake these motherfuckers. We can build a place where nobody will be able to touch us. have you found us?
How?
This avenging angels thing. People are coming in to fight us. They must be talking about it in the real world.
I can't live in the real world anymore.
Is it the real world? Hallelujah, I'm still alive. And I'll appreciate every moment.
This has to do with taking James and me into the real world.
You know about that? I mean, you understand about the real world.
Your frustration. Do you really? When this is over, you will walk out of this room to the real world and your own concerns, and leave me here trapped in a world I know to be nothing but illusion. I cannot bear that. I must leave.
That is not possible. You cannot exist outside this room.
Are you certain of that? Computer, exit.
Although objects appear solid on the holodeck, in the real world, they have no substance.
An object has no life. I do.
Professor, you are a computer simulation.
I have consciousness. Conscious beings have will. The mind endows them with powers that are not necessarily understood, even by you. If my will is strong enough, perhaps I can exist outside this room. Perhaps I can walk into your world right now.
Professor, I ask you to believe me. If you step out of that door, you will cease to exist.
If I am nothing more than a computer simulation, then very little will have been lost. But if I am right, mind over matter, cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. In a story, I became self-aware. I am alive.
That's not possible.
And here I am. Tell me, has a way been found to allow me to leave the confines of this holodeck world?
Leave the holodeck? No, of course not. You can only exist in here. Already, and the count is now. They're halfway to Melis 2 by now. This enhancement module contains enough active memory to provide them with experiences for a lifetime.
They will live their lives and never know any difference.
In a sense, you did give Moriarty what he wanted.
In a sense. But who knows? Our reality may be very much like theirs, and all this might just be an elaborate simulation running inside a little device sitting on someone's table. Well, we have a newborn star to study. Mr. Barkley, we'll keep that safe.
Answer. Computer and program.
Yeah. Captain, I have determined how Moriarty was able to leave the holodeck. He never did. Neither did we. None of this is real. It is a simulation. We are still on the holodeck.
Out there is a intelligence or a consciousness or something that is called the Creator. And most people will never come in contact with the Creator. And especially after what I've described to get there, they probably won't want to. It's not a very pleasant trip. But you encounter the Creator, except, again, nothing is the way you read about it in the comic books that are the mystical writings. The Creator is huge, deep, wide, tall, and and has aspects, many, many aspects. This spark of consciousness that I was left with, awareness, at some point intersects with this thing, and that recognize something. I said, oh, I'm a part of this.
So it was such a profound experience to have been out there in deep space. And I'm not the kind of person that would have expected this kind of experience. I mean, I would have expected, if someone were to tell me you're going to take this drug that's going to launch your consciousness, I would have expected that I would see angels and fairies and not alien life forms. I have no interest in that. That's not part of, you know, I've never liked science fiction, I've never been into any of those kinds of things. It's not part of any sphere of interest, but to be out there with these other life forms, this greater intelligence.
Why didn't you tell me there was another Kryptonian on Earth?
You're halfway across the country with no memory. He's not a guy. He's a machine. He's a computer.
There isn't one among us who could resist that temptation.
We agreed. We would not open that envelope unless the traveler proved to be a threat. That's why Swan and I are flying to Zurich, to make sure that the secret is kept locked safely away, and ultimate power is left in the hands of the gods.
Robert.
Yes, yes. Well, here's another fun fact for you. All around.
For people to recognize that mainstream medicine is far more successful than faith healing. I really can't believe that in this modern day, people are so blind to the evidence that's out there. I'm Jenny Bartle, and I'm the president of the National Federation for Atheist, Humanist and Secular Student Societies. I think faith healing can change your life, but it's usually for the worse. Faith healing, when it works, plays on guilt. If you don't believe that God can heal you by himself, then you can't be a true believer. And I think that's a very difficult thing for people to deal with. I think that what's going on is it's all the hype, it's all the excitement, and they feel like at that moment, because of all the crazy ritual that's going on, that something real is happening, but quite often afterwards they're hobbling home just the way they came in. For me, science is the best way of looking at the world that we currently have. It inspires progress better than religion ever has. I'm open to the possibility that there's something better than science, but I know that we haven't found it yet.
I'm Chris French, I'm a professor of psychology, and I'm very, very sceptical when it comes to faith healing. You'll sometimes see claims from faith healers who say that they've actually cured cancer when conventional medics had given up and pronounced the cases untreatable. But when you look further into the details, you find that these claims just don't stand up. There have recently been cases reported of people suffering from HIV/AIDS who were told by their pastors to give up their medication and to put their faith in God, and they died as a result. This is criminally irresponsible, in my opinion. Many of the evangelists today make literally millions of dollars from their followers who by and large are uneducated, poor and sick. This really, really is disgusting. Very often people who have this intense faith actually express pity for people such as myself who don't have any kind of religious faith. I'm an atheist. I just think it's better to be in touch with reality.